All right, welcome back to another 4C Group podcast. Today's guest is someone who truly understands what it means to shape a lifestyle from the ground up. Literally, that's, trying to be a little funny there, but we're calling this episode Luxury on the Green, Building Lifestyle with Marcella. Marcella's golf vision. So welcome, Ryan Kartchner.
Thanks for having me. That's awesome. That's actually a great description.
Yeah, I think that was kind of funny. So I have a little history here. So, that's not always accurate, but you can always jump in. So it says we have Ryan's journey in the golf world began right here in Utah. After attending University of Utah, he built his incredible career leading top-tier golf clubs, including Hidden Valley and the Promontory Golf Club in Park City, which I think that's where we very first met. Mm-hmm. You recently served, and I don't know if you still served on the Utah Section PGA. Is that what that is?
Yeah, Utah Section PGA Board. Yep.
Okay, Utah Section PGA Board, which you represent over 380 professionals across the state, and you're still heavily involved in national governance of the PGA of America?
Yeah, so I was president of Utah Section PGA and kind of helped with representing all of our pros on a national level, basically. So
okay,
that was great.
We'll kind of maybe get into a little bit what that means. Currently, this is the exciting news and why we're excited to have you on the podcast. Currently, you're the president of golf operations. Or
golf development
at Marcella.
Yeah, which includes operations.
Yeah, so Reef Capital in general, right?
It is, all Reef's courses and their facilities and stuff. So I help out with the development of them, acquisition, and then obviously operations.
Yeah, so I think everybody knows Black Desert, right? That's kind of the LPGA and the PGA Tour, and
it's getting some wings there.
So that's amazing. I was down there for that LPGA Tour, which was awesome. Cutalong, right?
That's in Virginia.
Virginia.
Yep.
Obviously, Marcella, which we'll get to. Anything else I'm missing or that's kind of in the works?
We have Cornerstone Club in Telluride, Colorado that we just acquired last year as well. So that's a really awesome facility, very similar to like a Promontory. That's in Telluride. And then we also acquired a place in Tennessee called Sweetens Cove, which is an awesome kind of a guy hang. I mean, women are invited, but it's really...
So no women?
Yeah, women are invited. They can't come, but it's more of like, they won't enjoy it as much as guy hang.
So Tennessee, that one, correct me, is that the one, is it 9 holes and take a shot of whiskey, right?
Yeah, it's got just
shot of whiskey, play 9.
Yep.
And then
play another 9.
Turn around.
Yeah, and then play the same course twice, but the greens are set up with 2 different pins on every green, and it really is. It's you're still teeing off, kind of seeing a lot of those shots, but a lot of times it's very, very different how you play the golf course.
Yeah, I think Brock from the director of golf at Marcella, right?
Yep.
He invited. Yeah, I think that's a trip.
We're going to do a trip down there for sure. Yeah, it'll be great.
So that's exciting.
Yeah, that's fun. It's a really cool facility. We've got some really good projects right now.
Anything else? Courses.
Yeah, well, we're looking at a few. We have a few things that we've kind of had good opportunities that we want to that we're considering anyways. I do think that Reef has a goal of they're trying to create this awesome network that if you're in it, you're going to have some access to what they're trying to do or have access to all their fun stuff. Some of them will be a little more higher end, like Marcella, so we don't let people come there unless they are members, but inside our network, you get a lot of fun stuff that we do, including all our facilities. They're redoing Cocoa Palms Resort over in Kauai. Okay. And so that one will probably be done. That one's going to take a while. I think 4 years. That whole resort will be redone and remodeled and that sort of, not remodeled, just completely, I think, tear it down and start over. But that network that we're building, I think the goal is to have, somewhere around 15 projects and stuff that are really fun to.
So 15 golf destinations under kind of that.
It is, yeah.
Is that under Reef Capital umbrella?
It will be, yeah. It'll be under Reef Capital umbrella. So Reef Capital will be the parent company that kind of helps run and operate and do that whole sort of a thing. But then there can be private clubs like Marcella that are it's a little bit out of the entity, not out of it because it's definitely plugged into that sort of thing. But it's just a little, like I said, very, very exclusive, I guess you can say. That's kind of what we're going for on that one.
Nice. So exclusivity. That's awesome. So obviously, you started your career at Hidden Valley Country Club as a I don't know, head pro or?
I was an assistant pro there. I actually had a couple other like public courses when I first started getting into my career anyways, but I was there for about 6 years and then came to Promontory. I was the first pro at the Nicholas course. So I was a part of the last part of the design or the setup. So I met with Nicholas once, he came out, but also just, we were there for the first, they hired me at the end of 1 year and it took us a year to get it open, the end of September. So it was fun to see that whole thing and it wasn't the ground up, but it was pretty close. At least it was the starting of it, getting all the stuff for operations going and stuff.
So maybe later we'll have to talk about Jack Nicholas versus the new big guy here or something.
Yeah.
So let's talk. So I always like to talk a little bit about how we met, and so you talked about Promontory. I think you started 2007. Is that?
So I started 2007 as the head pro at that time. And then I was only there for 3.5 years.
Okay.
Because Hidden Valley came calling. They needed a director of golf. And so I went back there and I was there for about 8 years. 8 years. And then I came to Promontory in 2017 as the director of golf. So same thing happened to me with Promontory. So I worked really hard as a pro.
Yep.
I was a little unique, a little different for some that I just really thought outside the box and tried to grow and do a lot of fun things. So that's something that I actually very proud of is most of my jobs that I haven't applied for, they kind of came after me.
Hey, that's the best way.
Exactly.
I find that's where we find the best people is it's, they usually already have a job and they're really good at their job and it's, you're seeking them out versus
absolutely. And that's bad if you're not that way, but that's one thing that I was, and it was from places that I had been. So Hidden Valley got me and then Promontory as well. So it worked out great for me to do that. And then I started consulting for Reef Capital Partners when they started doing this, but started with Black Desert and Cutalong. I had approached the owner of Promontory with an idea. You may have heard that idea. So I approached him.
I wanted to get into some of this history because I joined Promontory. I bought in 2006, and I probably had golfed 5 times in my life. So I was not a golfer, but I was like, hey, well, I gotta get the golf membership. We're here. The big reason why I joined Promontory is, I was just starting my architecture firm, had just moved up to Park City in 2003, and I was like, well, if I'm going to be an architect, own my own company, where am I going to be in Utah? Well, I think it was pretty obvious to be in Park City. And, I tell you the truth, I didn't really even know that much about Promontory. I talked to a few real estate agents, looked around, and I was like, man, this is the spot for 2006. And I think it was just starting to get momentum, catch up. And, I was able to get a few jobs out of the gate, which was great for a new firm. And, like I say, I love Promontory and I see that vision, and really that's what really jump-started my career was Promontory. And then evolving into all these other golf communities, gated communities, I guess more lifestyle communities. And then I picked up the painful game of golf at an age of 36.
Yep. It can be painful. It's a hard game to start.
It's like, I don't know how a game can be like the best experience and worst experience all within 18 holes. Yeah.
You have all the emotions up and down for sure. And
I mean, obviously I'm assuming you grew up playing golf and that was part of, the family, but for me, not being a golf family, I truly have I would say caught the golf bug. I have a passion for it. I'm terrible at it. But, we did the trip to Pinehurst, so you got to witness some of the ugliness. But it's one of those things where I don't know how you can hit like one good shot, and then it's like, I'm back in.
Yeah, exactly. You can suck for 17 holes. If your 18's good, you're coming back.
I mean, it's amazing. I think, the relationships that you make, the people that you get to talk to, it's just a great experience. And I think once people catch that bug, it's unstoppable. So, that was really, I probably didn't really, I'm trying to think back, like from 2007 when you were there, we probably didn't really know each other then, but it's probably more when you came back as the director of golf and, trying to get in on some trips, trying to, I was trying to build a business, do all these things. So I wasn't really dedicated to the game, but, I've really started to try and put in the time. It's one of those games though, where I feel like the amount of time you put in doesn't necessarily always reflect how much better.
That's totally true. 100%. Yeah. You can still be an average golfer, putting in some effort and stuff like that. But it does take a lot of time, a lot of dedication and stuff. And it's until you get over a certain level at golf, it can be really frustrating. I always tell everybody it's one of the hardest games to start because you're probably not going to enjoy it for a few months. You just got to get through that. But once that ball starts going where you want it to, it's the most addicting game that's out there.
It's super addicting. And I think, is that fun? I guess early in your career, before you became this, mega golf visionary for Park City, you were obviously doing, more in the level of helping people like myself, right? Actually teaching the game of golf.
Yeah.
Is that
majority of my career? Yeah. For about 27 years is what I say. I did lessons very often. Even when I was at Promontory, we had, a full-time teaching pro, which was Tom Rogers for the first little bit and then turned into Doug Roberts. But I taught quite a bit, as much as I possibly could, because there was so much to do with that job, management and meetings and things where they need, you're being pulled in a lot of directions. So it is important that you have somebody that helps you with that. But instruction is helping other people enjoy the game of golf has been the majority of my career. And not only that, it's like a Promontory. Again, why I feel like I've kind of excelled in golf and that sort of thing is when you create a community inside of golf and help people enter that community and be part of it and grow and have fun with it is really the thing you're kind of looking for, which is what we're going to really do well up at Marcella is again, create that community that's just so fun to plug into and to have friends and stuff.
So do you miss that part of your job?
I do. Well, I do in a sense that I'm creating it on a higher level. Like I'm really going to help Brock with it. Brock's going to own it. He's going to do awesome with it, but we'll help him kind of grow that. We're doing it at all the courses, but also Reef has me kind of doing that inside their investor network as well. So we're trying to kind of merge both of them, kind of like what you did. You talked about coming on that trip to Pinehurst.
Yeah.
So we put a lot of these trips out there. We invite anybody that's in our network, basically, whether you're a member of Marcella or down at Black Desert, that sort of thing. So we do a lot of trips every year. And I did it when I was at Promontory. I did it, Green came to, on a few of them, but we would do, I do the Masters every year. I've been to the Masters for, I think, 17 years straight. I've taken people to the Masters and stuff. So we do a lot of those kind of things, Scotland, Ireland, travel. We usually do a couple a year and stuff. So we're doing more and more of that now that everybody in our network is going to have access to.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. I think one thing that I love about golf, so I've been floating around between 18 and a 14 index, which as I tell my friends that don't play golf, I'm like, I'm way better than you, but if you actually play with people that play, I suck. Right? You feel like I feel like I'm at the bottom end of the people that actually play, but if I go out with a casual game of people that don't really play, they think I'm pretty good.
Yeah,
but
you can make the ball go where you want it.
Yeah, you can make the ball at least 50% of the time. But one thing I do enjoy is with the sport of golf is you're able to play with somebody that's amazing like yourself.
Yep.
And then somebody at my level, and we can handicap it and we can still go have a fun competitive game.
Absolutely. Yeah, it really is. It's very unique that way because it's hard to do that with almost any other sport.
Yeah. I think take Pinehurst, right? We go out, you're playing from the tips. Mm-hmm. I'm playing up from the, old man tees or whatever, but we're still able to play a match.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's one of the best things about golf. It is. And that's why it's such a part of the sport, especially people, very successful business people love it because it's their outlet, but it also can be, again, it's the equalizer in a lot of things. You can play with people, no matter their level, you're going to have a good time playing with people.
Yeah. And I think even, the 9 and dine experience where my wife does not play golf. She's hit it so she can go out and play at a 30 handicap level. Yep. But we can still go out with another couple and still compete in a 9 and dine.
The game, exactly, and have a good time.
Yeah, and it's still competitive. But it's fair.
Yeah. So and it's fun enough. This really is. It's why again the game, you get a lot of past athletes that love the competition of golf. They can still feel that the blood flow and the adrenaline going and the nervousness that comes with sports and stuff. And that's why we do this tournament down in St. George every year. It's called E4A. It's especially for athletes.
Okay.
And we get so many past athletes that love to play. Drew Brees will come down. We had Greg Maddox, a lot of like Taysom Hill. A lot of these guys come down to play, but it's a fundraising event and stuff like that. But it's amazing to see how like into it these guys get. Like it's they don't have that adrenaline rush from, you know, pitching in the majors anymore. And honestly, they look to golf for a lot of that, and you can be part of it, you know?
It's actually really fun for like myself, because, you know, if I can get in there and I can play my handicap, I can contribute, which brings those competitive juices, right, going.
Absolutely, for sure.
You know, so we did, so I think you came onto one of my teams. So my daughters were on the Park City Cheers. So there's a football cheer fundraiser for Park City. And I remember we got myself, Brad, you, and Haley. I tried to put together the dream team. And, and I think what was awesome is, you know, you had Haley was she's a, you know, PGA pro, right? And she gets to play from the women's tees. And I think, what did we shoot? It was like some amazing score.
Yeah, we did well.
Like a 58 or something like that, which made it, you know, it was fun for me, and you know, everybody gets to contribute, and that, you know, that's what's great about
it's a good time for sure. There's a lot of those events out there that you get to do that's for charity.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's another huge thing, and obviously what you guys are doing at Marcella is just all the different types of events that bring the community together. Yeah. It's fantastic.
Well, you know, since we've been going with this, you know, and you're going to have Beth on, you said, but our kind of community coordinator and you know, onboards all of our members at Marcella. But we've had a lot of people even say that, you know, we don't have a course yet. We don't have an actual, if you were to say, hey, let's go to Marcella, let's go to the club, where are you going to go? You know, there's really not a place to go yet. But if you look at the things that we've already done for our members, the events and the travel and all that sort of thing, it feels like the doors are open. You know, it feels like that we're kind of going and things have been good. That's totally credit to Beth and her team and stuff. We had a lot of fun stuff that we do.
Yeah, I mean, let's get into Marcella a little bit. So I'm a member in Marcella, and I think, you know, I've being an architect in the Park City area and working in, you know, Promontory, Tuhei, Red Ledges, Victory Ranch, Guanajuato, like having exposure to all that. It is unbelievable what Marcella has done with this you know, new development. I mean, I've never witnessed anything like that before, you know. Basically, I can't remember when you called me and said, hey, I'm part of this Marcella, got to get on this founding members thing. It's going to, basically you put in your deposit for your golf membership. You know, when that's in, you're going to have that buys you a reservation spot for 500 lots. And I mean, it was you know, typically when you hear something like that, you kind of like, well, you know, there's nothing here. There's no amenities, blah, blah, blah. And you know, I think, you know, living through 2008-9, right? Seeing what happened there, obviously, but, you know, seeing what you've done and your passion for it, seeing, you know, Beth coming over from, you know, Promontory and being a part of the membership team, like there was no hesitation. And man, thank you for that invite, because man, I think this is the best thing ever. And I'm just so happy and proud to be part of it. Yeah,
it's an amazing project, and one thing that I'm very proud to be part of it as well. You know, it was so easy to put the whole deal together, but you know, I'm from Utah. I've been in Park City, you know, I'm trying to think how many years I've been up here now. It's been almost 15 that I've been part of it, or coming to Park City now. And so just knowing the market up here, when Reef Capital Partners had an opportunity to purchase the real estate on the Deer Valley side, you know, I could, my head, it just started turning just like, oh my gosh, there's such an opportunity for, if you could start over with a golf club in Park City, and just knowing how awesome, you know, Victory and how awesome Glen Wild, how Talisker, all these courses that are so great here. And if you could start over and not make any mistakes, or just start over and, okay, here's what you're going to be, especially after COVID, because COVID turned all these places that were awesome. They're still great, but now a lot of them are a little bit on the busy side, you know? Yeah. And if you ask anybody, that's probably one of their biggest complaints. I know at Promontory it is. It's can be hard to get a tee time, or certain times a year only, but it can be hard to get a tee time at these places, and all of them are experiencing that. So I said, hey, you know, if we could do this and make it so it's 36 holes and this many members and all these amenities, and I say this all the time, and it's no knock on all the other clubs, but we are the last one in, but we have the best location of both places. You know, we're part of the hill, you know, at Deer Valley. The only lodge that will be on that hill, and then across the freeway down the road is where the golf is going to be, which is really close to Park City, and all those restaurants will be right there as well. It really is a fantastic position. But I was just saying that, if we can make it exclusive, we're going to get everybody at these other courses that really want to say, hey, I'm really into golf, and I really want to come to a place that's going to be like this over the top. And I was already talking to Tiger, so it worked out.
Yeah, I mean, I love what you said there, where if the opportunity came to you to do it from the very beginning and do it right how you wanted to do it, your vision. And I think you having conviction behind that is what has made that so successful.
Yeah, and Reef's awesome that way, because they're all golfers too, and they kind of caught the vision right away. I mean, they hadn't, they'd come to play Park City, but not experience it like a member, like you have at Promontory and stuff. So, but to come in and just, hey, they caught the vision. Everybody that we kind of pitched to, the guys that own the land over there, that are our partners in it, they all easily caught that vision of what it possibly could be. And like I said, it was so easily, because like I said, I had some plans already drawn up for what we were trying to do over at Promontory, and we kind of pivoted on those and did something awesome still over there with the par 3 course. But we were sitting on this opportunity already, and it was so easy.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about, the big excitement is obviously Tiger Woods golf course in Park City, and you're obviously a huge part of that. Maybe give a little history of, the things that maybe your hands were tied, you weren't able to do, and now you have all this opportunity here, and kind of that evolution and how you got Tiger Woods here.
Yeah, I owe a lot to Promontory and Francis, and the opportunity that I had there. And that place, I love Promontory. It's awesome. It's great. And what we were doing is we were looking to expand over there. Francis Najafi, the owner, knew that he had to add more golf, because he needed more golf, more memberships to sell the rest of the lots.
Wasn't the original plan was 5 golf courses, right?
The original was 5, yeah. Okay. And he even had Tom Weiskopf drive up the last 2, and it's on South Point, on the saddle of the south part of the property over there on South Point in Promontory. And but so I came to him with an idea of bringing, this is when I was the president of the PGA, and I was attending all the national meetings and representing the pros locally, and going to all these meetings with everybody that are kind of the big wigs in golf, tour commissioners and that sort of thing. So it was pretty cool. And they were talking about how, one of the things they really do is they need another hub out west, is what they're talking about, because they love the time change and the time frame for the majors to be on television for the East Coast and that sort of thing. Okay. So it just helps for viewership and that sort of thing. So I was like, I go to Francis, I started with the PGA, the PGA of America, and then Tiger's group and that sort of thing. And I basically just kind of served up this whole idea to Francis to have, and I'll tell you, one of the biggest parts of the idea was the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
So I had the PGA of America show up. This is some insider trader information for people here. But the PGA of America came to Park City. They toured everything. They looked at everything. They were for the idea that I had, which is Ryder Cup at Promontory on their property, that sort of thing, was, they wanted to know parking. They wanted to know hotel rooms. They wanted to know way more before they even talked about the golf course. And then I said, well, it's a blank canvas for the golf course. We can do whatever you want in the golf course. We could put 2 courses here, but if we want, let's do one really, really big one, and make it so it's kind of like a Hazeltine. Like every 6 to 10 years, you come to there for a Ryder Cup sort of thing. So they were all in. They were interested, and they said, we're definitely interested in that. We're not getting guaranteed you get a Ryder Cup, but let's talk about this.
So PGA was ready to go.
PGA of America was ready to go, yeah. And then I was talking to Tiger's group, and so we were talking to Bo Welling, is the main designer for Tiger, and they came out and they looked at everything and they said yes, and so we had it all teed up, and I took that idea to Francis, and we are also working on the par 3 course idea as well. He wanted Forrest Richardson to continue doing that course, because he had talked about that way back in the day, my first stint, and he weighed the options, and we got into the cost of the course and the clubhouse over there and that sort of thing. And he said, "I'm just going to do the par 3 course for now.
Just going par."
Yeah, just gonna, maybe he will down the road, but for right now, he had this. So I'm sitting on this whole idea of Tiger and that sort of thing. But when they bought the property there at on the Deer Valley side, and I'm like, okay. Mike Bradshaw's was my connection over there at that group that owned and ran that property over there where the golf course is going to be. It's Sorensen land, a big family from Utah that owns the land over there. But I said, hey, let's put these courses on there, and Tiger's ready to go. And so it was an easy plug and play with that one. And so it was just, like I said, cards fell into place, and here we are with Marcella. Now the Ryder Cup is not tied to it yet, and I don't know if it ever will be, but we're looking down the road for something else on that one that's still a good connection that we might have.
Yeah, do you feel like the courses there could support that, or that's another project down the road?
It's got to be, I think, a little bit of a project, because it has to be like if you were to do a course like that, which we could in this state, but it has to be really the idea of a big, like crowds, stadium style, that sort of thing. And the thing that I'll tell you about Promontory as well, but Marcella, when we looked at that course, what makes it so unique is if you look at every course that's around here, they have the golf course down here, and the houses are all looking down upon it. And this is the exact opposite. The golf course has all the views, it's up high, and then the course or the houses are below it, down low. So I tell everybody, I says, what's awesome, if you go play Victory Ranch and you walk up on number 17 tee and you have that, oh my gosh, it's awesome up here because you can see everywhere, cameras, you can see that sort of thing. We have like 14 of those.
You're getting that everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's something that's, we're already looking and helping some clients trying to find their lots for the big release in September. And I think, looking at the maps and everything that's going on, I think one thing that you guys have done really well is you've not put a ton of real estate around the golf course. You've kind of left that golf course, because you go into these newer developments and you're let's use Promontory for example. You go around there, if you were playing the Nick, 10 years ago, right? Yeah, there was nothing, and it was amazing. There, and now all of a sudden, and I think we knew it was coming. We knew there's going to be houses around there, and it's fine. But I think planning that out of the gate is fantastic. Yeah. And I think. I think truly, I think what's special from my point of view, and why I invested there is, hearing the ownership talk about how much they love golf, so that it's going to be this true golf club. Yep. And not that there's anything wrong against these generational, with pools and all these other facilities, but I do love the fact that that's golf centric. Now, there's an amazing aspect over on the Deer Valley ski side with the ski lodge and all that, which I think for Park City is a must have. And I think that is going to be, top tier as well. But the fact that this is this golf centric thing, and I think that's why you're seeing, when you reached out, for memberships, why you saw a lot of people from the other clubs saying, hey, I'll jump in. Yeah. I'm jumping in.
Yeah. So we painted a really good picture of what it's going to be. And again, that sense of community with exclusivity and all the amenities that we have, it really was. And that's one thing that, is very, again, going back to how unique Marcella is, we've gone to the point now where we've sold out of the memberships. We don't have anything available. We've sold 500.
Yeah. Why don't you talk a little bit about that? Because I think that's another one of those super unique things that you just don't see happen.
It is. So the way that I love that Reef Capital does this business and stuff, it's not through leverage. It's not through loans. It's that sort of thing. It's through investment dollars and opportunity for some of their investors, but also it's extremely smart the way that they do it. So it'll only grow with the membership growth and that sort of thing. But I knew there was going to be a demand. I mean, maybe not this much of a demand, but
you had to have been a little surprised.
Yeah, 100%. Okay. Absolutely. Because because I knew that we were having the local stuff. The local people from other clubs wanted to maybe just invest or come and play golf and that sort of thing. But then when the national people that just hadn't been to Park City before started looking at it, and a lot of it was because of Tiger's name and stuff. And then Park City and Tiger's name together was a big draw. But when we started doing that, as you have benefited from, a lot of the memberships, we started to get close to selling out, and the value of them started going up and up, and we ended up selling the majority of them right around $500,000 for the initiation fee.
And there's a waiting list now, right? Are you taking waiting? Is that?
There is, yeah. So to be on the waiting list, you buy a ski membership.
Okay.
So you have to purchase a ski membership. Those are $250,000, but it gets you obviously access to everything else, all the amenities that we will have, except for the golf, and actually the par 3 course, because we'll have a par 3 course. The ski membership will also get you onto that. Yeah,
I was kind of looking through that amenity list. So explain that. So there's 500 total golf memberships, right?
Yeah, with no legacy. So it's just the member and the spouse. And if they do have
members, member, spouse. Those are sold out. We have a waiting list. If you want to get on that waiting list, you got to pay the $250 for the ski membership.
Yep.
And do you have to buy the lot with that one, or is that just sort of floating
it does commit you. Yeah, it does commit you to purchase real estate at some point in time.
Okay.
The ski memberships will be like that until we are out of the real estate offering. And then I think that we won't have, I should know this, but I don't. I'm not sure how many we have capped the ski membership at a certain amount. And I think there is real estate for everybody who has ski membership and golf membership between the two sites. I believe there is. And also because Reef Capital has also done the townhome project as well as the condo project. That's not affiliated with Marcella, but they did all of that over at Deer Valley at East Village as well.
Yep. And that has access to ski or no? Or is that
so you can get a ski membership with with one of those products over there, but not golf.
Gotcha.
Yeah, for golf, you actually have to have the houses on the hill or the lots over there at Deer Valley or the real estate over on the golf side.
Yeah, so you have to pick what's your dream?
Where do you want to be?
Golf side or ski side?
It really is, and it's just it's very like that, much like at Promontory as well. Golf memberships and social memberships and stuff. So, but we're definitely doing it right. The amenities that we're going through are really going to knock it out of the park with a ski for sure. Our ski lodge is unbelievable. You've seen that,
Yep, I've been to I went to the groundbreaking. I've seen the renderings. Olson Kugendig design, which as an architect, he's fantastic. I think that's super exciting. He's not only doing the ski, but also the golf clubhouse. So I think that's going to be great too.
Yeah, and it is. They've done a really good job up there. I think it's very, very unique. As the golf pro at Promontory, when it was a 6-month season in the wintertime, they turned us into ski lodge guys.
Ski guy. yeah.
So I managed all the ski lodges at Promontory as well, which is the 2 lodges on Deer Valley and Park City Mountain Resort. And then all of the golf pros were in those lodges helping that sort of thing. So I had a lot of experience with that side of the business as well. So we started to do the design on what would be awesome. Again, starting over, if you could have your own lodge, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So the whole bottom level is a ski lodge basically, but it's also the social amenity for all the members that live on that side of the hill. So we'll have the workout facility, the swimming pool, tennis, pickleball, all that stuff, have some food and beverage aspect to it.
Yeah, and then I think what's great is if you're on the ski side, which is literally like 10 minutes away, there's going to be a shuttle service, right?
Yep,
basically pick you up clubhouse.
Yep.
Boom. Can everybody get a ski locker at the ski side? So ski locker basically get picked up and you have private little transportation.
Yep.
Take you over there, drop you off, put on the boots, ski.
Ski right down, exactly. And we'll actually have 2 lodges. We'll have one that'll kind of be in the townhome product as well that they'll have access to, and then the one main one up on the hill. So you have the bottom of the hill as well as the top of the hill. So if you just do come and check in at the bottom of the hill, there's also an area for you there.
Amazing. So a couple of exciting things coming up, right? We have July 5th is going to be the preview, right?
It's going to be a preview. It's just you're going to be able to get up on the hill. A lot of people want to see, the lot release stuff and that sort of thing. But hopefully we'll have 7. I know we talked about 7 and 9 holes that will be sodded. So it's going to look green. Okay. It's going to look like a golf course. Looks awesome. Right now it does on the ones that are finished. It's awesome to see the course get to this level.
I saw, they sent out some photos, I think like 3 or 4 days ago.
Yeah.
And when I was up there 2 weeks ago and it was you were trying to dodge the dump trucks and this and that, and seeing what has happened in 2 weeks is incredible. And
it's crazy.
I where do you get all this sod from? That's crazy.
It's a farm in Idaho. Yeah. We pre-bought it. We had to have them grow it for us, that sort of thing. It's very, very expensive. I think our bill on sod is around $3.5 to $4 million.
Yeah, how many acres of sod is that?
It's 110 acres.
It's 110 acres.
110 acres of sod is what we have.
So how many semis is that?
Oh my gosh, a lot. I don't even know. They just keep coming though. I tell you that much. Yeah.
I just think about trying to sod a par 5.
Yeah. It's probably 2 trucks, 2-3 trucks. It goes on forever, especially number 10 that we're working on right now. It's so much. The fairway is really wide, but we're doing everything we're doing. But it's also, we have, it's different grass for the greens, and we're sodding the greens as well.
Okay, yeah, that's different grass for putting and everything.
Yeah, but we'd ordered it all. We'd actually hoped to have some of it delivered at the end of last year, and the guy was ready to sell it to us, or ready for it. And so by the time we actually are picking it up, he's really happy because he wanted to grow more sod. So come get your stuff.
He's like, let's go. Exactly. So what? That's how far out do they have to plan that up in Idaho?
It's a year out. It takes a year to grow the sod for it and stuff. So, but yeah, we have. It's all ready to go. It's all sitting there. They're just rolling it up and pack it, drive it down here, and we unroll it, put it in place, and it's a pretty slick build process. It's pretty easy. Yep.
So
shouldn't say easy, but
I think the stuff people always love to hear about is what's it like working with Tiger Woods? What was that experience like? That had to have been pretty special. I don't know how many courses he's designed, but we're
his 4th.
Okay, so it's fairly new.
Yeah. He's fairly new in the golf design business and stuff. We've been talking to him for quite a bit. The golf design kind of obviously slowed down quite a bit. With the 2010, 9-10 crash with all these kind of golf communities and stuff. More courses were closing than opening for many years. But then it really started picking up with COVID and stuff. So, but
that's been a huge switch in the.
It's been crazy,
right?
It turned on all the golf courses. Everyone was totally crowded after that, and all these, there's it's for many years. I know at Promontory, for many years, you're trying to get people to come. What's the reason to come and bring your family and be in that sort of, that's why the legacy membership start, bringing the entire family and stuff. So they started getting more people, trying to get people there. And then once, we got closer to COVID, I think France was telling everybody, please don't come. Got to be more crowded and stuff. But it's really changed the golf industry quite a bit. The COVID did and stuff. It's been very similar to the Tiger boom back in the day, but probably double that, I would say, what happened to golf back in those days. So all golf designers are pretty busy. We're talking to quite a few of them for some of our other projects and stuff, but it's been awesome with Tiger. He's been, he vetted us just like we vetted him. And because I was talking to them for as long as I was at Promontory and stuff, I really got to know his team in the design world really well. His best friend in the world, his name's Brian Bell. He's the one that runs the Tiger design thing. He met him in the 7th grade and stuff like that. Has been with him ever since. Very, very loyal friend. And Brian, I've got to know Brian really well, but he's been great. They're great to work with, and we've promised them a lot of business. Actually, we're going to do probably at least 4 to 5 more courses. 4 to 5 courses in total with them that we have promised right now. They're great to work with. We really enjoy it. Obviously, the Tiger name comes with a lot. Tiger loves Park City. He actually, people have asked me all the time, I don't know if I should disclose this or not, but he is going to purchase a place up here.
That was going to be one of my questions. Are we going to
he got a townhome. So
see a Tiger Villa?
He will, he will be around. They love Park City. They love Deer Valley. They love to ski. I'm not sure how much they'll see him in the summertime. I'm sure we will. But he was blown away by the project. He really, when he came in, he was just, he knew we were designing a course for him. We've kind of pitched him on what we were doing and stuff, but he was very, very impressed with what we think that Marcella should be.
What do you think? I mean, you obviously having a wealth of knowledge in the golf industry and seeing tons of golf courses. What do you see are some of the cool things that Tiger's doing with his golf designs that is maybe different or sets him apart, unique? Tiger
he's very forgiving off the tee. He has wide fairways. He does bunker them up a little bit, but he has wide fairways. Okay. But he's very big on the ground game. Like if you miss a green, he doesn't like 60 degrees to come out. He likes that 8 irons to come out. And he likes if you're good at bumping runs and rolling it and keeping it, because he has some roll offs and false fronts and that sort of thing. But he rewards you for a lot of that stuff. Okay. He's not, the course we're building there is 8,400 yards, so that's big. Yeah, it's about as big as you get in the United States. I know there's maybe a couple out there, but at our elevation, it doesn't seem like that. And he has tons of tee boxes as well. So there's a spot on that golf course for everybody. There is, it really is.
Yeah,
so.
Fair golf course.
Very fair golf course. That's one thing you'll see. It's really scenic and really, we have an infinity green. I'm sure you'll know exactly what that is. The infinity greens where it just looks like there's absolutely nothingness just off into the distance. You'll see the Uintas in the background, that sort of thing.
That's going to be incredible.
We have like 10 of those. It's just the shots to the greens and the tee shots. It's such a great piece of property, and he was blown away because again the golf courses are usually at the bottom, and the piece of property that we gave him to build on, it was on a rock, so we had to blow some stuff up, but it's turned into an amazing golf course.
I mean, let's a little bit. So private golf versus like public golf and different types of private golf. So when I bought in Promontory, I had no idea what I was getting myself into, and I started playing the die and started playing the nick a ton, and I just thought that's what a golf course was.
You had no other experience?
I thought this is just how bad, how hard golf can be and unforgiving. And I feel like, that Nicholas, to me, that Nicholas golf course is just, it's one of the most brutal courses that I
It's one of the hardest courses you'll ever play.
Yeah.
When they did slope and rating, the slope and rating tells you kind of how hard or, what scores, different handicaps can shoot on those or average your average on those courses. But the highest slope rating that they'll give you on a golf course is 155, and that's what we had at Promontory when I was the pro there. And I think it's still that. They've made a few changes to make it easier, but for the most part, that is a tough course.
Yeah, so you were there at the end of it, so obviously you weren't at the beginning. But what's the reasoning by why a private golf course wants to have a 155 slope rating?
I don't know if Promontory knew they were getting that when they signed up Nicholas. Yeah. Jack had, I call it a little angry stage of design. Okay. Unfortunately, the Red Ledges had some of that happen to him. But they've gone back in and fixed some of that sort of thing. But it's just, I think, golf was going in a direction that everybody was getting really good. And they wanted to make sure that it was at that level, everyone had the course that anybody could play. and it started to kind of isolate some of the higher handicap, and ladies and that sort of thing had a hard time on some of the courses they're trying to do.
Yeah, they don't even want to play it.
So the best thing that I think that golf has evolved to in the design, that sort of thing, is it's a golf for everybody. And that's one thing that you'll see with Bo's design, Bo Welling and Tiger's design, is that it is very playable for every handicap. It's very forgiving. You even have the Frank tees. The Frank tees is the kids tee. If you remember back in the day, they used to do Tiger commercials, and his head cover is called Frank, and he has conversations like in bars with his head cover. It's Frank, but the Frank tees are his Tiger head cover that are the kids tees that are all the way forward. So even those will be like a junior tee that'll be forward. So, but it's again a course that it's not a lot of forced carries. A forced carry is when you have to carry, a lot of ravines, a lot of trouble.
It's not fun for somebody learning to play golf.
Or higher handicap lady like your wife. Okay, for women that want to do 9 and dine, it's not much fun if they cannot hit over or lose all their balls.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Exactly. So the ground game is good, and that's what Tiger is. But he still wants it challenging for when Tony Finau comes and shows up and wants to play and get ready for the Ryder Cup or the Masters or whatever he's playing in that week. It's a good challenge for him.
Are you going to read all his putts for that one so he can break the record?
Maybe.
Like he did
see. Promontory. And so Tony used to come to Promontory.
I was there the day that you guys were filming. I was ahead of you guys, and I think that's the day he shot 61
shot 60.
Oh,
60 on the next scores. He'd played it almost 40 times before, and 68 was his best he's ever done.
That almost seems ridiculous.
It was like video game golf. It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe that he was doing it when it was happening. It was like kind of a pitcher, throwing a no-hitter. I didn't even want to talk to him.
Yeah, because it almost makes it sound like the course isn't hard, because
it's impossible. And he even, I think, kind of said that, because I remember at the next tournament, he had Max Homa come up to him and says, "Dude, was that course really that hard?" And he's like, "Dude, you have no idea how hard that golf course is." Yeah. So, but it really is. I'll tell everybody, it's one of the best rounds of golf that I've ever seen. And I played with Tony quite a bit. But he was crazy that day, and he could have been a 58. I'm not even kidding. He missed a couple putts and that sort of thing. Insane. But it was how good he hit it that day was unbelievable. Wow. I don't know if he'll ever have that again, because that's how good it was. It really was.
Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, it was kind of unbelievable thinking that he just came and shot that score. So.
I did read a lot of those putts though.
Yeah. Well, I've seen you were like a master putt reader. When we were in Pinehurst, just to have you say just hit it here. Obviously there's still speed involved, but having that is,
definitely advantage for sure.
Definitely.
I knew my way on that course.
Definitely a huge advantage. Let's see here. So any more important dates coming up with Marcella that,
No, we are doing our best for Labor Day to have some sort of golf, whether it be a preview, a little loop, or something like that. We will really want to give golf this year if we can, and that's I've been telling everybody I don't want to be tied to a date, and it's not just me. It's our construction manager that's doing his best, and we want to get it right. We also want to deliver on a good experience if we do go down that road and get some golf open this year. But we are trying our hardest to get some golf happening by Labor Day. We really are, and I hate to say it, but I do think that we will. So I don't want to be held to that standard, but we're doing our best, and I think we can make it.
We're going to leave it in, not edited, maybe golf.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, we're trying. Those guys are doing awesome up there, and we had a great spring for work, for shaping, and for getting stuff done up, that sort of thing. And we've moved all of our people that are shapers and that sort of thing over to the next golf course, because like I said, we're just going to build this place out as fast as we possibly can.
Yeah, that's amazing. So real quick, just to kind of wrap up the overall kind of reef vision on golf in Utah and Park City is, so we know, kind of explain a little bit for everybody what is, so we have Marcella, the private golf club. We have Black Desert down in St. George, which has the PGA, LPGA real estate. It's not really a membership-based thing down there.
No, they have a little bit of a membership if you're an owner. If you're an owner there, they have kind of a membership level, but you don't have dues. You just pay with usage and that sort of thing. But it is considered like a kind of a membership through ownership.
Okay. So probably not much of an advantage for Black Desert folks for Marcella, but advantage for Marcella members with everything down there.
Exactly. Yeah. The Black Desert members can't come to Marcella, but the Marcella members can go to Black Desert. Okay. So everybody knows that. It's not like we're hiding that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think it's...
But that's part of the exclusivity thing that we're kind of looking for too. So if you want to go down there, you're going to have access. You're going to have rates and usage kind of like not pretty close to, not if you're an actual owner of Black Desert, but you're going to have an amazing deal when you go to Black Desert. It's almost half price basically to go play there, experience it. And Black Desert as the resort and what they're doing there there's nothing like it. It's even golf destination places. If you think of Pinehurst and Bandon Dunes, that sort of thing, we will have that because we're building more courses there and that sort of thing. But it's also a place that you want to take your kids to.
So I have a house down in St. George. I'm a member at Entrada, which is just adjacent.
Right next to us.
And obviously through Marcella, I've played Black Desert several times. And I think for how all the lava and the beauty, very fair course. I actually shot one of my best rounds ever at Black Desert, and I think it's a great course.
It's narrow, but when you know where to hit it and you know how to hit it, and it really is, the fairways look narrow and then they open up, and then they kind of narrow up and then they open up and that sort of thing. But it's when you learn how to play that golf course, it's so much fun. It's a great golf course, good test of golf, and we've the pros that have been coming there, men and ladies, they absolutely love it. They absolutely love it. It's the guys that don't like it as much are the guys that are the big bombers, because it takes their big stick out. They can still use it, but it's so penal if you don't hit it in the fairway.
Yeah, I remember when I first went down there, it was before they had the PGA event, and I was like, how the heck are they going to put up all the stands and this and deal with the people? And then when I went down to the LPGA, it was like, it was perfect.
We
it was
figured
great.
it out.
It was like awesome.
Yeah, you can still get people around. There's a few holes that we do kind of keep people off of, and that's our choice. But we could probably eventually get people down to those. But stands, everything like that works out great.
Yeah,
it's been a great venue. And
it was they did a fantastic putting that event on. I know it was this year when we went down. It was part of the Reef Summit, which is part of that investor group. And man, what an amazing event to be at.
Yeah.
First class. So.
Yeah, they really do it up right.
They do.
We, for the girls this year, we chartered 2 jets and invited them on it to come from that last event. And then we also took care of all their rooms. It was our first time doing it. So we wanted to really kind of just get people to come and feel like they were welcome, that sort of thing. And they're like, this could be our favorite event. Obviously we rolled the red carpet out for them and they loved it.
So are you able to talk about any of the other potential exciting stuff?
So we are really close. I do think it's going to happen. So I'll kind of give you a little bit. We're working on getting more golf at Black Desert. We have 3 potential golf courses that we're looking at to build down there, and we have lined them all up with designers and that sort of thing. Tiger is going to be one of them if we can get this deal done and stuff. So, but we need more golf down there. We know that's one of our main focuses. What we really want to do is expand that, get people more of a reason not to. I mean, they're already coming and they're playing, but there's so many cool courses around St. George that they can go and play. But we're trying to keep more of them on property and stuff. So we need more golf. We know it's just we're expanding that experience.
I think that's going to be.
But I do think that's going to happen. We haven't inked the deal quite yet, but we have. It's pretty good chance it'll happen.
All right, so more amazing golf in St. George associated with Reef.
Exactly. Yep.
And Black Desert.
We're going to make it happen.
I love it. So quick, I'm going to call these like little lightning round questions here. So favorite golf hole ever played?
Oh boy. That's a good one. One of my favorite courses in the world is the Elsa course at Turnberry. And they have this hole that wraps around a lighthouse. If you've ever known Scotland golf, that's what they're known by, is that lighthouse. And they've had the British Open there half a dozen times. I think that Stuart Sink won the most recent one out there. But it is it's number 10 and 11, 12, or in there 12's a par 5, or 11's a par 5. That's just awesome. I mean, it's such a cool experience around that whole area. Robert the Bruce's castle is right there as well. And so you play around that. So that's one of my favorite ones for sure, internationally, locally in the States. I really like Riviera Country Club. I think that's one of the coolest, most iconic experiences in golf. And the tee shot on number 1 when you're elevated down to the fairway is one of my favorite shots in golf.
So we'll say tee shot number 1.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. I like it. Hidden gem in Park City.
Hidden gem in Park City, the Muni.
The Park City Muni course?
Yeah. The Muni is so fun to play, especially when it's in great shape. It's just such a laid back experience. I think it is a total hidden gem for sure. I have some loyalty and some, I was able to go play the par 3 course at Promontory. I think that course is underrated because
that's a fantastic course.
Yeah, it fills the void of what they needed there, which is a fun kind of getaway, easy family, round. And I really enjoy it. Plus I that was a big part of my last run there was the planning of that and that sort of thing.
You know what I think is fun at the par 3 is you can play from every tee box. Like sometimes you can go play from the tips, right? Because it's not too big if you want to go member tees. But like I'll take my daughter out and I'll go play the front tees with her. And
Absolutely.
it's super fun.
It's way fun. Yeah.
Like it's just, it's a whole different course, playing all those different tees.
Yeah,
so.
it definitely serves the purpose of what it's for. I think it's awesome. I think it's a great addition to Promontory.
Yeah,
for sure.
I agree. Like, I think that's totally underrated and underutilized right now. So if you're in Promontory, go play that course. It's great. What's one luxury experience everyone should try at least once?
The luxury experience everyone should try. If you talk to anybody that's been on my master's trip.
Okay. Yeah. I've heard it. Yeah.
The master's trip that we put together is I've been like going there for so many years, and I've been very, very fortunate to be able to, I don't advertise this by any means, but if you're in our network, I have access to them, but we have tickets every year to that new hospitality area, Map and Flag, and some other parts of Augusta and stuff. But it's when they come, it's just turnkey. I mean, I get you on some amazing golf courses while we're there. We usually play Champions Retreat, where they do the women's Augusta tournament before the men's event. They do 2 rounds there, then go to Augusta for the final round. So we play there. We play Sage Valley. We play a lot of the fun, awesome courses around there, and then we can just cater it to whatever you do. So that's definitely.
I didn't realize there was so much golf also along with that trip.
Yeah. So some people come and golf 3 or 4 times and go to Masters 2 or 3, 1 or 2 times.
Okay.
And some people don't play golf, but we can kind of do it however they want to. But it's, everybody that I take there, I don't think I've ever had somebody that said, I don't want to come. I want to come next year.
Yeah.
They always are like, holy cow, this was so unbelievable. So that's that luxury experience, because it's not cheap, because the tickets aren't cheap. The golf isn't cheap. The housing isn't cheap, but if you've never done the Masters,
that's a bucket list for sure.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Everyone's been there is always.
Would you rate that higher than a Scotland golf trip, or is that?
I was definitely as high for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've done plenty of both of them. No. And the Scotland trip is awesome as well, for sure.
Okay. I like it. Best advice you've ever received?
Take more club. Swing easy.
I like it.
Golf is such a mental game, and I've always had, I've had a lot of good players that I've played with. I play a lot, with some tour players and that sort of thing. So when I think of advice, I always think about what it translates to the golf course as a golfer and that sort of thing. So, but that when it comes to golf and who I am, I guess I get a lot of really good golf from really good players.
Yeah, that must
advice
be.
anyway.
I mean, that's a great part of your job, right?
Yeah, it is. It's fun. I play a lot with Mike Weir. He's a really good buddy of mine. He drags me along to some of his fun events, which are always awesome, the President's Cup and that sort of thing. So, but yeah, listening to those guys and the advice that they usually give me on the golf course, I definitely take heed to that. Yeah,
and I think one thing too is us as amateurs, we sit and we watch all the pros play on TV. You're only seeing the guys that are playing the best that day.
Yeah,
like you forget
there's guys on the grind. Yeah,
you forget the guy, and you start to look at those stats, and it makes me feel better sometimes.
Yeah, honestly, guys that play on the tour, all they need is two good weeks, 2 or 3 good weeks. Yeah. And you keep your card and you keep going, that sort of thing. Show up a couple times, and it's very, very few people come along like Scotty Scheffler, or those guys that are always in the mix, top 10 players that usually are. But yeah, every once in a while you get a flash in a pan, and it's JJ Spawn comes up, and
get to do it.
People that you don't know their name.
So with all your history in Park City, starting from Promontory, Marcella, bringing Tiger Woods, where do you see the Park City? I'm going to say, where do you see the Park City market heading, or where do you think it's going to be in the next 5 to 10 years?
I think it's really, we're developing a lot. We're doing a lot. It's one of the few cities that's really kind of still booming in golf. Everybody has kind of been through it and that sort of thing. You see, the owner of Bandon Dunes is doing a whole nother project just in Colorado, but it's north of Colorado and stuff. But when you say Park City to a lot of people know Promontory, they know Glen Wild, they know Victory, they know Talisker, they know all these awesome clubs that are here, and we're just continuing to growing and getting better. And now we have Walhalla Project. More and more things seem to continue.
We didn't even talk about that. Dang it. That's an exciting thing too. Is that moving forward, or is that? Yeah,
I was just there today, actually. Walhalla's a great place. I think they have some structure and stuff. They're trying to reevaluate what they're going to do over there. It's an awesome place. I think it'll definitely be around for a long time. That
there being a connection,
collaboration with us. I don't know. No, maybe? I mean, I could see possibly down the road. I mean, the pro over there is Eric Johnson. He's a really good friend of mine and stuff. I don't know if there ever be kind of a reciprocal or anything like that. We have at Marcella, we're trying to lock down us so that we really don't reciprocate with anybody.
The true private club experience, right?
And it's not that we're trying to think that we're better than anybody, but we've promised. Yeah, no, no rounds and low rounds and that sort of thing. So
that's why people are sitting on a waiting list.
Exactly.
For $500,000
eventually. Exactly. And I think it's going to be double that soon.
Yep. Let's see here. So a couple final questions that I like to ask all my guests. So I like to ask advice to 4C, right? The 4C. I think you kind of know what we do. We just did a tour of the office. How do you think we can provide the best experience to our clients through I'm going to say through the eyes of the developer? I feel like you're on the development side. How do you feel like somebody like us, architects, interior designers, contractors, how can we help facilitate that luxury experience?
I think just doing what you're doing by plugging in and being a big part of the community is really, really big. When I started doing this and even talking to you, we had a lot of guys that I knew from Promontory and stuff that were builders over there that are coming wanting to be one of the feature builders, feature designers, features, all that sort of thing and stuff. And we really wanted to partner with people that were easy to work with, that are fun to work with. And you've gotten more and more, business even with us.
Yeah. No, we love working with you guys.
I think it really is. It's plugging in, and it's awesome that you yourself come into the community as well. And even when it was at Promontory, they'd have us come to the member mixers and the social things, and you were always there and stuff. So I think it's really just, becoming part of the community. It really is. And I think that's something that, again, I've been good at from the golfing standpoint, but Reef is really, really good at it as well, is creating this community that it's easy to plug into and becoming part of it. So if you're somebody that's coming here to, get on our wait list and buy something, you're from Chicago and you don't know anybody, how do you plug in? How do you come in? How do you meet your group? How do you meet them, sort of thing? And I think that's really the biggest thing, is being part of that community that we're trying to create.
I agree. That's how I, built my company, is just plugging in and getting out there, putting yourself out there and, taking up golf and
exactly,
building relationships. And I think it's fun. This is the funnest part about, I decided to put this podcast together, was putting the list together of all the people I want to invite. And it was like a list down memory lane. Some people I talk to still daily, but we talk to, when we see each other at Marcella event or, from Promontory. But to me, that was exciting. It's I'm going to get I don't want to use the word rekindle, but, reach out to these people, invite them over, let them see what we're doing, have a conversation about, how they're impacting Park City. And, to me, that's part of that community and why we've been here and why we live here. So
absolutely. Yeah. And once they see your product and see the offerings, that sort of thing, that's the biggest thing, is just plugging me in. And then, I hear from everybody about how their experiences with their builder and that sort of thing. When I was at Promontory, you get to know, the people to plug in with and, that sort of thing. That's obviously why you were invited over and stuff, but we will really want to have some great companies that our members can have access to and friends, be friends with.
Yeah. And I think it's that collaboration element, which I think was kind of a theme through everything we kind of talked about. That's how you kind of grew your whole career, it's all about
absolutely, it's connections and meeting people and having more and more people and opportunities with them, for sure.
Okay, last question.
Okay.
So advice. So somebody wanting to get into I'm going to say PGA profession, not as a professional golfer, but as a PGA professional, what advice would you give to them?
Look for something more lucrative. No, it's such a fun career because we talked about it, just the people that you get to meet, especially I still, some of my best friends, actually the people I travel with the most on a social level, are members at my club that I ran for a decade down in the valley.
That's crazy.
And it's because once I stopped working there, they started inviting me to all of their stuff because I took them traveling. I would travel with them. I take them to Scotland, that sort of thing, pro-ams and stuff. But it's such an advantage to be in, because you get to know people on a different level as their pro, and if they let you in on their kind of who they are and that sort of thing. I probably attend way more funerals than most people do, and I say that's on a good thing, because I get to know people on that level that I want to go to, that sort of thing. And you get to know people at all stages of their lives as well, and when they're young with families, as they kind of get older, and when you get to know them throughout the entire stage of life. Like, I've been very fortunate to still be plugged into that club down there in the valley. I was there for so long that they offered me an honorary membership. So my family gets to go there and stuff, but I still see all these people that I've known, when I started there in 2000, some of these older guys that are still banging around there and stuff.
And kids that you taught.
Yeah, right? Kids that I taught that are awesome. They're playing college golf now, and that sort of thing. So that's one thing that I think is one of the coolest things about the golf industry is you get to be around so many people that you look up to, that are very successful, that you get to plug into, money wise, you don't hang in their neighborhood and stuff like that. But, they look up to you, especially, the game, I'm hanging on to being able to play and still making the ball go where I want it to. But it's, people look up to you as well, and they want to hang out with you, especially if you can introduce them and may help them enjoy the game a little bit better. So I think it's awesome. It's a great career. You go to the office every day, which is the golf courses where people go to get away from usually what they're trying to, their office and that sort of thing. So it's something that I decided I wanted to do early when I was at the U and stuff. I was trying to play basketball back in the day, but golf was something that I've done my entire life as well.
No regrets, right?
No regrets, actually. Love it. Love it. It's been great. And it's led me to, now I don't do that. Now I just kind of help them kind of grow and do what make things better.
I think the takeaway for things like this is like, and getting to see you, through your whole career is like, I look at you where you're at and you're like, man, that Kartch has got the best job ever, but it didn't happen overnight. No. Right? Yeah, there was a lot of work to get there.
Hours living at the golf course.
And I think that's with everybody in our careers is, people look like, oh man, look, so he gets to do all these big projects. Like, they weren't there during, 2009 when you're like, please let me design a house for you.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
But like I say, you have passion about it, you stick with it, and you act as a true professional, like good things can happen out of it. So
definitely. Yeah. Appreciate it. Yeah,
thanks for coming. I think this was an awesome podcast. We'll put any additional, contact information. We'll say for Marcella, if somebody's interested in getting that reservation ski membership that maybe turn into a golf membership. Yep. I know you guys are still doing sales down in Black Desert. Yep. So if anybody wants information about that, we'll put that contact on there. And likewise, if anybody wants to come visit the 4C Collaboration Center or has any interest in talking to us about doing a project, we know a ton about what's happening in Marcella. So we do a lot of tours with our clients all the time. Also, don't forget to hit subscribe if you like what you heard. So thank you very much. Wrap.